Here again with another Breaking Bad Season 4 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important if you aren't caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Breaking Bad, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description if that happens to be the case. If you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for all of you out there that are wondering, I've seen Breaking Bad many times. This is at least my 8th time watching the show. It even might be my 10th time watching the show. So join me on the journey along with the man, the myth, the legend, the Lucifer fanatic, the Dexter fan, and Breaking Bad fan himself, Crazy Coffee Man, in the comments section, and let's discuss this show. This will be Breaking Bad Season 4, Episode 10. The title of this episode is Salud. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start with Mike, Gus, and Jesse in the desert. A mini plane comes to get them. Not a big plane, just a private little small plane. Jesse seems a little hesitant to get into the plane, but he does. And I think Jesse knows that he might never return. Gus tells Jesse, you can do this. Skylar calls Walt and he doesn't answer, so she leaves a message. It's Junior's birthday. He wants pancakes. Skylar tells him to go get the paper, as she hasn't done it yet. Surprise! A new car for Junior. I think he liked the one that he had initially. It's great. Junior's kind of starving, so he wants the pancakes. I swear, the only reason why Walter Jr. is in this show is to eat breakfast. Almost 95% of the time, that's his only role in this show, is to eat breakfast. But this episode, he actually does a little bit more. Ted Beneke goes to see Saul Goodman. His great aunt passed away, apparently 8 years ago, and Ted Beneke says he doesn't know any relatives, and Ted gets the exact amount in a will that will cover what he owes to the IRS. So great Aunt Bertha, or whatever the hell her name was. Jesse, Gus, and Mike arrive at the meth lab in Mexico. Jesse asks where the acid is. They say they synthesize it themselves. The chemist calls Jesse an amateur, and Jesse says to tell this asshole if he wants to learn how to cook my product, he's got to do it my way, the right way. And then the chemist says that he speaks English. And then Jesse complains about the state of the lab, just kind of like how Walt used to complain to Jesse about all these things. Jesse essentially says the same thing. You're lucky your boss hasn't fired your ass. Stop acting like a little bitch and do what I say, Jesse says. Junior drives his new car to Walt's place, rings the buzzer, and calls and leaves a message. Are you okay? I know you're home. Your car is there. And then Walt, in a t-shirt and his underwear, opens the garage door and says, come in if you're coming in. And Junior asks, what happened to you? Are you going to talk to me here? Junior says he's calling Mom. Do not call your mother. Walt says he was gambling. He would never hear the end of it. Just keep it to yourself. Walt starts to cry. He tells Junior that he made a mistake, and Junior's like, Dad, it's okay. And Junior actually tucks Walt into bed. Walt asks how your birthday was. It's good. He tells Walt he likes the car. It drives great. Walt says that's good, Jesse. So he calls his son Jesse. I think Walt liked Jesse more than Walter Jr. Jesse starts to cook in the cleaner meth lab in Mexico, hammers up the crystals. A sample is put into a device that measures the purity of the cook, and Jesse's cook was 96.2% pure. Isn't that better than Gail Bedeker's cook? I can't remember what Gail cooked, but one of the guys says nicely good. I don't think that's what he said, but I mistyped something. First of many. You're staying. You belong to the cartel now. Saul stops by the car wash to see Skylar. He says he went ahead and had and met with Mr. Ted Beneke. Saul pulled Ted's bank account. 3 hours after Ted left Saul's office, he bought a Mercedes that's fully loaded. Skylar asks, where is he now? While Walt was sleeping, Walter Jr. fixed his Walt's glasses that were broken from the. They weren't broken. I think just the lens fell out of place. Junior's actually sleeping on Walt's couch. Walt tells Junior, "Your mother is going to be worried sick." Junior tells Walt that he called her last night and that he told him that he was or told her that he's going to be staying with Lewis. Lewis is like his go-to person to lie about stuff. Walt tells Junior his father died when he was 6 years old of Huntington's disease, which I'm not familiar with. He tells Junior just what he remembers about his father is like his last memory of his father, about a story how he was in the hospital and they had so many cleaning cleaning supplies and cleaning solutions that they wanted to not let it smell like death in there. And basically goes on and on about this, and Walt doesn't want Junior to remember how he was last night as like his lasting memory. And then Junior's like, well, at least last night you were real. Like, Walt, for the first time in a long time in the last year, is finally real. So Junior ends up leaving. Tyrus is sitting out there, and then he's like, don't you have somewhere to be? Skyler goes to see Ted Beneke to see how things are going. Ted tells her that he got some very unexpected cash. Ted says the IRS stuff is in progress. He says he wants to get proper legal counsel, maybe get a better deal on what he owes. And Skylar's like, no deal. Ted tells Skylar, this is my money. Ted tells her she needs to drop this. You need to pay that. And then Skylar says, you need to pay that before the end of the month. And Ted Beneke's like, duly noted. And then Ted gets mad, and he says, there's the door. I'm done talking about this, he says to Skylar. Who exactly do you think you got the $600,000 from, Ted? Great Aunt Bergam? Or Bergen? I can't remember what he says. So now we have Gus at the site where his friend or possibly boyfriend was murdered years ago. He's looking at Don Ilado's pool, and he takes a vitamin or a capsule of some sort. Jesse asks Mike, I don't get a vote. I just stay down here forever. Mike says, I promise you this. Either we're all going home or none of us are. Now settle down. Don Ilado and his posse arrive. Don Ilado and Gustavo hug. And then, Gustavo, may I present this is your new employer. He says to Jesse, this is your new employer. He tells Jesse, Don Ilado. That's not his real last name. It's like Ilado something else. And then the old cook says something. He tells him, I don't care. He cooks better than you do. And then Gus has a gift for Don Ilado. It's a bottle of Zafiro Anejo. I might be saying that wrong. Don Ilado thinks it's perfection. Shots are poured for everyone. No drink for everyone, as Jesse's an addict and must be sober, or must stay sober to work. And then Gus drinks first. Salud. Don Ilado drinks. Everyone takes their shot that gets a drink. Here come the ladies. A few ladies with some really nice assets. It's a party, essentially. Jesse's given a cigar, which he does smoke. Don Ilado says once every 20 years he's got to spank Gustavo. So Gus says, hey, I need to use your bathroom. And then when he goes in the bathroom, he does this whole ritual of taking off his sport coat. And then he actually puts a towel on the ground and forces himself to throw up. Out by the pool area, those that took a drink start to fall over. And then Mike chokes out and kills one of Don Ilado's guys that didn't have a drink. At least that I didn't see, or the stuff that was in there didn't affect him yet. I don't know. So Don Ilado falls in the pool and dies. Mike tells Jesse to make himself useful and find a gun. Mike grabs Don Ilado's necklace, so he pulls him up from the pool and grabs the necklace that's around him to obviously show a certain individual that's at a nursing home right now, and Gus isn't feeling the best. Mike and Jesse have their guns drawn, and then Gus says, Don Ilado is dead. Fill up your pockets and leave this in peace. The women leave with money and other things. Mike puts Gus in a car, and someone opens fire. Mike is shot. Jesse kills the man that shot Mike, and then Jesse helps Mike into the passenger seat. Mike says, get us out of here, kid. And then Jesse drives off in the car with Gus and Mike, ending the episode. So this was a really good episode with a lot of great performances in this episode. I have to score this episode a 10 out of 10 because it did a lot to advance the story with Walt and Walter Jr., with Skyler, with Ted Beneke, with, well, not really with Saul. He was just kind of the middleman. And then, of course, the cartel stuff with Gus. And then Jesse and Mike. I think this episode proved that Mike likes Jesse to a degree of what Jesse did. So 10 out of 10. My character of the episode, I mean, Gus, Jesse, Walter Jr. Yes, this was the one episode, maybe one more, that Jr. actually was valuable in. He didn't just eat food. He actually served a purpose in this episode. And special recognition to Mike Ehrmantraut as well. But definitely Gus, Jr. and Jesse. Probably Gus because of what he did to defeat the cartel here. And then for the ladies, I spent a lot of time talking about the males, but obviously Skyler for trying to get Ted Beneke to pay the IRS, but it didn't quite work. But we'll find out more about that in episodes to come. So you've heard everything I've had to say about this awesome 10 out of 10 episode. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, or El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, which you should like all three because they're from the same universe, make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend that likes Breaking Bad, put this video on any one of your social media platforms if you deem it something that you want to share. Don't forget to sound off in the comments section to discuss this episode with me and the man, the myth, the legend, Crazy Coffee Man, who's a Dexter fan, a Lucifer fanatic, and also a Breaking Bad fan. Let us know what you thought about the episode, what your score would be of the episode, who would be your character or characters of the episode. You can do males and female, however you want to do it. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team as you're watching the video anyway. Show your damn support and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.